Agenda 21 by Glenn Beck. Today and tomorrow only, it's 50% off at Target.com and most Target locations. Get details on the book at glennbeck.com/agenda21.
Here's another helpful holiday travel tip. Brought to you by your friends at the Transportation Safety Administration. According to the 2012 TSA Handbook, fruitcake can be considered a deadly weapon. Also, the term fruitcake is considered demeaning and hurtful, especially to those in California who are indeed fruitcakes.
Fruitcakes. Okay, I see.
This has been another helpful holiday travel tip from Doc Thompson and the Glenn Beck Radio Show.
Hi there, it is Doc Thompson pinch hitting today. If you get a chance, check out my Facebook page and like it. I'm trying to build that up. Just do Facebook/Doc Thompson Show. Or if you go to DocThompson.com, you get all kinds of stuff there, that little podcast of things we've done in the past and even some stuff we've done on the air today. I want to tell you what I think is the way forward. And it's not my idea. It comes from an idea of a very smart man and some other very smart people. So recently, I was having dinner with this group of people. And one person in particular threw out an idea, and everybody debated the idea, and I really think there is something special here. The guy I'm talking about is Steve Forbes, the media mogul. He has a book out. We had dinner about a week or so ago, and during this dinner,
wait, hold on. You had dinner with Steve Forbes?
I had dinner with Steve Forbes.
By had dinner, you mean you served him dinner, right?
No, we had dinner. What do you
mean? You saw him walking into a steakhouse or something?
No, we ate at the same table.
Dinner with Steve Forbes.
I did have dinner with Steve Forbes. Yes,
sort of a panel with him. Were you the before picture?
No.
Would you park his car?
This is not about me. Yes, we were on a panel.
You both had dinner the same day.
No, here it is, guys. I was part of this discussion group where I was invited to speak with a lot of I'm not going to go into the other people. I'll mention Steve because he had sent me a copy of an article he wrote based on our discussion there. And no, I don't know. You know why I was there? Because I have my finger on the pulse of what's going on with the American people. I am on the cutting edge of...
What are you talking about? You don't even have a job in 6 months. You're not on the pulse of anything. 6 weeks, yeah.
Yes, but they don't need to know that. I fooled them once again.
All right.
I weaseled my way in.
I'll edit this out in post-production. Don't worry.
Yeah, don't tell him. Don't air that. Jeez. No, so I'm there speaking, me and 6-7 other people, and we had a great discussion. And Steve Forbes spoke, the publisher of Forbes magazine. Forbes magazine's a great magazine. You've probably read things he's written in the past. Well, in our casual discussion, he mentioned the fiscal cliff and an idea he had. And during dinner, it was about 20 or so people, everybody just, talking different issues and ideas. He said he thinks the way forward is for Congress, is for anybody on the right, anybody that doesn't want the huge tax increases, even for rich people, because we recognize taxes are too high to begin with. And we actually agree to taxing the rich. We agree to it. Steve actually wrote a little article after this meeting, sent me a link. I have that up on my Facebook page as well. You can find it there. And I want to share just a part of it with you. He said, when talking to the fiscal cliff, Obama Democrats argue that the president only wants to restore the tax rates that were under the Clinton presidency. That they don't want to do anything crazy. It's just, let's go back to the tax rates under Clinton when, everything was really good. We had a great economy. And he argues, Steve Forbes argues, that we should say, absolutely, let's do it. Let's get that done. But in order to achieve a Clinton economy, Steve writes, you also must enact the other Clinton policies critical to the prosperity of those years. And they include, number one, a freer economy. Fine, you want to go ahead and raise those taxes on the rich because things were wonderful under Clinton. I mean, economically speaking, we boomed. You can't just pick and choose. You've got to do it all, right? It wasn't just that higher tax rate that made everything wonderful. It likely was a combination. So those things that we should demand is a freer economy. Steve Forbes writes, the oppressive Obamacare of that time was Hillary Care, which was never enacted. So if we want to reenact the Clinton economy, then we have to repeal Obamacare. He then says the federal regulation regime was also much easier than it is now. Will the White House become serious about genuine deregulation? Doesn't that make sense? Second, Steve says, we have to go to a Clinton-era federal spending level. Yes, you can't just say we want higher taxes. You have to go back to the spending levels, which were much less. He said federal spending as a proportion of the economy, much smaller. Steve wrote, that would mean budget cuts now of around $500 billion, not spread over 10 years, $500 billion now, budget cuts. And finally, he said a stronger and stable dollar. He said the dollar in those days was almost as good as gold. He said that was a critical factor in that time's economic boom. So will the White House axe Ben Bernanke? Will they get rid of him? Will they get rid of his destructive monetary policies, the quantitative easing and such? Doesn't that make sense? How do you argue you have to go back to Clinton-era tax rates to make everything wonderful? Their argument essentially is that is what made the economy boom. And there's a heck of a lot more to it than that. Steve laid out a bunch. And again, read that little article at my Facebook page, Doc Thompson, or Facebook/Doc Thompson Show. The biggest reduction in government spending relative to GDP since the end of World War II happened between 1992 and 2000. Some of that you can actually give credit to Bill Clinton for. Some of that you can give credit to the Republicans in the House and the Senate at the time. You also had welfare reform as demanded by the Republicans. What about those issues? We had lower military spending at the end of the Cold War. So we didn't put as much out. But what did that lead to? It led to our serious lapse in intelligence, which led to us having our guard down in 9/11 and all the craziness since. After that, then we went crazy and poured money into places, again, giving the perception of security and safety as opposed to actually being safe. We had lower interest payments during the Clinton era because we spent less. We had lower interest payments because the deficit and the national debt were much lower. Taxation of regular income rose for the top earners. They are right. That actually went up. But capital gains tax actually was reduced. And you may recall when Obama was running for president, Charlie Gibson interviewed, and this is one of the most powerful pieces of audio to let you understand what President Obama really believes and is about. That when Charlie Gibson laid out lowering capital gains taxes under Clinton and under Reagan, that the Treasury took in more money. And Obama said he still was not for lowering capital gains because it's an issue of fairness. He is willing for the federal government to take in less money for us to be worse off just to stick it to wealthy people. Again, the idea that it's not fair if some make more money, even though it's better for all of us. And of course, you have the tech stock bubble. How would you recreate brand new technology, a revolution? How would you go ahead and reproduce that? You can't. Those things happen. They come and go. Maybe, possibly, if you got out of people's way, less government, less regulation, maybe you would see some of that stuff, a new technology boom. Maybe we could be talking about that. But there's a lot more in it than just saying, let's raise those tax rates because things were so wonderful under Clinton. Yeah, there was some really solid economics under Clinton. How do you pick just raising taxes on the rich instead of saying, let's recreate all of it? Makes a powerful argument. Steve Forbes, a very bright man. Check out that article again on my Facebook page. It's just facebook.com/DocThompsonShow.com. Is it .com/Doc Thompson Show? That's how it is. All right. And while you're there, please like the page as well. We have to get spending under control. I think you recognize that. I bring this stuff up all the time. Why is it that Congress actually went on vacation? You hear the members of Congress and the media talking about the fiscal cliff, how big it is, how awful, how destructive. They're using it to stick to the other side, saying, look at these people. They just want to destroy the economy. Something has to be done. Even though they're the ones who created the fiscal cliff by kicking the can down the road and actually not doing their job. They did not do their job because they didn't balance the budget. No, they can argue all they want that the other side, they don't agree with how to balance it. That's not the point. We send them to D.C. to do the difficult work, and they didn't do it. So they create this fiscal cliff. Then they go on vacation. Well, they got to go home for the holidays, right? You got to eat holiday at home. There's a problem with that, though. People at Walmart are working on the holiday. People at Target did. Firefighters and cops were working. People ran football games for entertainment. All of these things happening. But Congress still warning us that the other side is not going to help them stop this fiscal cliff, which could destroy us in the short term, went ahead and went home on break. Does that sound like people who are really in it for me and you? People who are really willing to do the hard work and get it done? Steve Forbes has the idea. I have the idea. You have the ideas. Congress, they're just sucking up the cash. They're just lining their own pockets and their own future. Get some of your calls. I'll share with you another example of waste right after the break. It's Doc Thompson on the Glenn Beck program.
You're listening to Glenn Beck. You can also watch the show online at theblaze.com/TV or on Dish Network Channel 212.